pleased to welcome you here today to Minneapolis and Hennepin County for this important field hearing. Our own Congressman Keith Ellison has been at the forefront of efforts to effectively respond to the foreclosure and housing crisis both nationally and here at home. We are thankful for his leadership and representation, and we know that we're lucky to have this strong congressional team of Congresswoman McCollum and Congressman Ellison. I want to say up front that the most important and effective action we've taken is to come together as a community to collaborate and innovate as partners through the Minnesota Foreclosure Partners Council. We have a coordinated plan focused on data collection, counseling and outreach, community recovery, and legislative and legal strategies, some of which you've heard about. And while the pace of new foreclosures slowed a bit in 2009, and our prevention and revitalization efforts grew in large part to the influx of federal support, we cannot say yet that we've turned the corner on this crisis. Instead, we've seen the foreclosure problem shift from the city to the suburbs and from being caused by mortgage products to now being impacted by job loss and unemployment. Hennepin County is the largest unit of local government in Minnesota. There are 46 municipalities with a population of just over 1 million people. The number of annual mortgage foreclosure sales in Hennepin increased from over 3,000 in 2006 to 5,600 in 2007 to more than 7,300 in 2008 and went back to the 2007 level this past year. That's just shy of 22,000 foreclosures in 4 years, representing 4% of our overall housing stock, and particularly devastating urban and suburban communities with the highest concentrations. As a result, home values have fallen dramatically in the neighborhoods with the most foreclosures, with a 14% decline in home values in North Minneapolis, and 10 and 12% declines in the cities of Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center. Let me just touch briefly on what we've been doing at the county. We've provided prevention counseling resources for at-risk homeowners and renters through the Minnesota Homeownership Center, Homeline, and Legal Aid that have accessed more than 3,200 by 3,200 households. We've held 25 foreclosure workshops in our libraries like this one and distributed a workshop video seen by thousands more. We've stepped up efforts through the Sheriff's Office and community partners to make sure that both owners and renters facing foreclosure understood the process and their rights under the law. We've been aggressively prosecuting mortgage fraud cases through County Attorney Mike Freeman's office. To date, 24 persons and companies have been convicted, and charged cases involve 210 properties with over $60 million in fraudulent loans. Hennepin County was awarded $8.6 million in NSP funding to work with 7 targeted suburban cities along with Habitat and the Land Trust to acquire and rehab abandoned and foreclosed homes and to primarily assist first-time home buyers, with our NSP goal of providing affordable homeownership for 200 households this year. We have invested an additional $2 million through the County Affordable Housing Capital Fund and Federal Home Program to rehab another 79 foreclosed and vacant properties in 2009. And since 2000, the county has provided over $35 million in local county funding to assist in the preservation and new construction of over 3,400 affordable units. We are targeting some of our homeless prevention and rapid rehousing HPRP funds to help renters at risk of homelessness due to foreclosure. 65% of the foreclosures in the city of Minneapolis involve rental properties, and approximately 10% of the families who show up in our homeless shelters over the past 2 years are renters coming from these properties. HPRP, frankly, is the best tool we have right now to address the problem of renters impacted by foreclosure through our city-county HPRP partnership and our contracts with community agencies. Legal Aid is providing the legal assistance that buys the family a little more time, and St. Stephen's provides the relocation assistance so that families never have to even enter shelter to get help. Just since October, these 2 agencies have served over 130 people and 40 families. Let me share just one story to illustrate how well this is working. Legal Aid has been working with a single mom with 2 children who has rental housing with a Section 8 voucher. She moved in last year and was notified just before Thanksgiving that she had to move out within 48 hours because the house was in foreclosure. Despite the requirements of state and municipal law, the landlord had not disclosed the foreclosure. Legal Aid attorneys were able to get the 48-hour notice retracted. The bank then issued the 90-day notice, but Legal Aid informed the bank of her Section 8 status and was able to extend the family's stay to when their lease ends this summer. Legal Aid is now working with the family in St. Stephen's to make sure the utilities stay on and that the family is resettled into a new home next summer. Without this help, this family would surely have ended up in shelter this winter. So in Hennepin, we're tackling the foreclosure and housing crisis from every angle we can, but we're still falling short. For every family who gets out of shelter, there's another family in line to take their place. For every family we work with to prevent foreclosure or find alternative housing, there are new families walking away from their homes because they owe more than their home is worth. NSP is working well to leverage other public and private resources to stabilize our communities and provide affordable housing, but it's not a model that works well for renters and for households of 30% or below the average median income. We're also struggling with NSP dollars in competition with private investors and speculators who put cash down and can move much more quickly to acquire the properties because they don't have to comply with environmental assessments, appraisals, discounted prices, and inspections. We worry that we'll not be able to meet the September 30th deadline of having all our NSP funds committed. We are thankful for the new federal assistance, but Hennepin County and our local governments cannot solve this problem alone. We've stepped up to fill the gaps to help our neighborhoods impacted by foreclosures and families who have lost their housing. And for Hennepin, responding to the foreclosure crisis, frankly, didn't fit in neatly into our organizational structure or mandated services, but we did it anyway, but we don't see the financial sector doing that. It's time for the financial sector to do what the rest of us are doing, step up and help us turn the corner on this crisis. Thank you.